The government has shifted the goalposts to reach surplus, but still won't hit its target. It's decided not to count ACC's debt towards total government debt, which should have made it easier to hit the 2027-28 target. But even on that measure, the books won't be back in the black until the following year. Treasury has revised down the government's expected tax take by $13 billion, and it will have to spend more on both superannuation and higher than expected job seeker numbers. They are expected to balloon out to 217,000 New Zealanders. So what does that mean for next year's budget? Here's our senior political correspondent, Jenna Lynch.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except if you're Nicola Willis.
We have a tough job on our hands.
The Secretary of the Treasury choosing coal for the Finance Minister's stocking, downgrading her forecast tax take to the tune of $13 billion, mostly thanks to lower GDP.
The extent of the revisions went beyond what I would have been happy with.
And that means the coveted surplus is slipping further from her sight, with Treasury not predicting a return to the black on the traditional measure within the next 5 years. But the Finance Minister has a trick up her sleeve, oozing confidence.
Do you think you can hit surplus by 27-28?
Yes, that remains the government's intention.
There's a heavy dose of T's and C's to apply to that answer. Willis has decided to change the way surplus is calculated, totally disregarding ACC and any of its associated $4 billion deficit. And still, the Treasury is predicting by that target year of 2027-28 a deficit of $300 million.
Minister, you've shifted the goalposts on Overgale and you still can't kick the goal. What's gone wrong?
Well, we are continuing our goal, which is to get the books back in balance.
No amount of creative accounting and spin is going to hide the fact that Nicola Willis has been digging a very deep hole for herself over the past year.
But Willis is not willing to take drastic measures to get there in the form of big tax rises or extreme spending cuts.
I do not think either of those is the right thing to do at the moment.
Despite the choppy economic seas, she's not changing tax, sticking to her $2.4 billion operating allowances for the next couple of budgets.
It will be very difficult, in my view, to stick to $2.4 billion per year for the next 3 budgets. Yeah, so I think the numbers that were being presented today, which did not actually get us back to surplus at all, are still slightly on the optimistic side.
The government's already committed to spend the vast majority of next year's on health pressures and funding its cancer drug promise, leaving only $700 million to play with to increase spending on any payouts for state abuse survivors, education, police, defence.
How are you going to pay for them with $700 million?
As I said, that will require further savings from across government.
Savings, aka cuts. The Finance Minister refusing to be drawn on how much would be cut next year and whether the target was the same as the $6 billion in cuts at this year's budget.
No, I can't give you a ballpark at this stage.
There was $6 billion found in the savings exercise this year. Would you be comfortable with a match of that?
I think you must understand how coalition governments work. You don't go off and talk about other people's portfolios, which I don't do. If I want to talk about it, I'll talk to her and keep the confidential information to both of us.
The other coalition partner, though,
For next year?
$6 billion of savings is ambitious, but it's what we have to do in order to get closer to balancing the books again.
So $6 billion is the target again?
Well, we're going to have to reduce spending by that much if we're going to balance the budget. That's got to be our goal.
those negotiations can wait until after summer.
Well, OK, Jenna, so what is going to be in the budget next year?
Oh, she is looking pretty grim already. Nicola Willis basically told government departments today that the majority of them should expect nothing from her next year. No increase to their budgets. And if they want to go funding new projects or initiatives, they're going to have to cut from within their own baselines to pay for it. She also talked about potentially introducing a new tax measure, though, in the form of a charities tax, so watch this space for that one. But the thing that shocked a lot of economists today was the growing size of the government debt. $20 billion more over the next 4 years than Treasury had forecast at the budget. Now, of course, the $20 billion is a big number, but it's also about how much extra the government has to pay to service that debt, to pay for the interest on it. Nicola Willis described her job as a steep hill to climb today, and boy, oh boy, she is right when it comes to balancing the budget next year.
Indeed, Jenna, thanks so much.